Mike Patterson. I'm a dedicated member advocate at People's Advantage Federal Credit Union. My role there is I empower our members to create financial well-being for themselves. At People's Advantage, we believe in understanding our members on a personal level, Mike, and with that, understanding their unique needs and concerns. So I usually sit down with our members to help them create budgets. I help them get an understanding of their credit score and start achieving their financial dreams. I just want everyone to know that I'm a trusted ally for them and providing support, guidance, and solutions, no matter how big or small the issue may be.
One of the things about People's Advantage, you guys are on the ground, and the name says it all, the People's Credit Union. Talk a little bit about your journey. So you've been the finance guy. Were you always good with money?
I wasn't always good.
You wasn't good. Okay.
No, sir.
What was that awakening moment when you're like, okay, I got to get better with the money?
That awakening moment, I think I was about 25, 26 years old. And I'll start from the beginning too a little bit. I ruined my credit. I'm gonna say ruined too. I was about 18, 19 years old. I was in college. My mom co-signed for a credit card.
Oh, Lord.
I maxed it out, didn't pay the
Okay, wait a second, Mike. So did mom give you the speech about the credit card?
She did give me
mom
the speech.
Mom gave you the speech.
She gave me the speech.
Okay.
And so
were you listening?
I listened at first.
You listened. And then the card showed up.
The card showed up.
Okay.
And friends were going out to
party. And
you're
like, I'm going to go. It's a one time.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, so were you bowling out of control at first for a little bit?
No, I wasn't.
You were good. You
I
heard
good at first.
You heard the voice. Okay.
I heard the voice.
And
then temptation took over.
Yes.
And so now I'm going out on the weekends. I'm partying with my friend. I'm using the card. I'm going to the mall because I want to be fresh to go.
You got to go. Yeah, you got to be right when you go.
And next thing you know, the card statement comes and it's like $1,000 racked up. And my mom calls me and she's like, Michael,
you know,
I got a copy of the statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you, okay, here, I got some. When you get that call and it starts off with Michael, you kind of knew what time it was.
I knew exactly
when it starts off with Michael.
I knew what time it was. I knew I had to go into her sweet, loving son and apologize.
Yes. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court.
That's it.
Did it work?
It worked.
It worked.
But what I did, Mike, was I messed up. I told my mom I wouldn't do it again. I turned around and did it again. So it became a vicious cycle. Her calling me every other couple of months about the statement. Then fast forward, like I said, I maxed the cards, didn't pay them. Credit card went into collections, right? But the caveat to that was I now got cocky. I went out and got a credit card on my own. I went behind my mother. I went and got a credit card on my own because, you know, they're sending offers all the time when you're in college. Mm-hmm. So I went and got 2 cards, opened them up, maxed those out. Those go into collections. So my cousin was a salesman for a Dodge dealership back in my hometown. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Shout out to the D.
And so I walk into his office. I said, cuz, I want to buy a car. I want to finance my first car. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, he set the expectation. Hey, we're gonna run your credit. We're gonna see what you can.
Did you get. When he said we're gonna run your credit? Did red flags go up at that moment?
They didn't.
They didn't.
I did not.
You didn't understand what that meant.
I did not understand.
You were not to the point where when people say we're gonna run your credit, it depends on 2 camps. If you're good, there's no question, no problem. Go ahead, run it. You say confident. If you're not, there's that moment when,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he runs the credit. Yeah. What happened?
My cousin runs the credit. I'm sitting in his office. He comes back maybe 5-10 minutes later.
With the look on his face?
And he's like, Michael, get out of my office. I said, cuz, what's going on, man? He said, I can't sell you anything. Your credit is shot.
There you go. All right, on the mic, Mike is here. We'll be back in just a moment. This is on the mic with Mike.
We're listening to On the Mic with Mike every day. Hello from Washington, President JB here. Whenever Jill and I leave in our car, we tune in to our guy, Mike King Biz, on ESPN.
Nice.
All right, it is here. So we got Mike Patterson here talking about credit. And it's appropriate that we just played the with Joe Biden, with the whole idea of, helping people with student loans. And you're telling us a story. So your cousin runs the card, the credit, and you realize at that moment,
my credit was indefinitely shot. And it was at that moment I couldn't finance a vehicle. I had to actually pay cash for a car, right? So I'm going now, mind you, I'm kind of aging myself a little bit here. Used to get the newspaper on Sundays, right?
Yes.
And in the back of the newspaper, they had a classified ads.
People buying, yes.
And people used to put their personal ads. They were selling something in the back of the newspaper.
Yes, people, that is, yes. There were things in newspapers and people did buy ads and put it in there. I'm selling my Dodge Dart.
Exactly. And I found a nice car. It was a 1989 Toyota Tercel. And the lady only wanted about $800-900 for it. It was a 5-speed manual. Ended up paying cash for it. I ended up driving that car for a couple of years. But during that time, that's when I really started to focus on improving my credit. I really started to get a better understanding of what credit was really about, and how to effectively use my credit. So I had to literally, it was already torn down, but I had to build it back up.
And that's what you talk to people about every day over at People's Advantage.
Absolutely.
And now we're here today talking about about car loans, the impact of it. So if your credit was right back then, you could have used your credit and bought the car that you wanted.
Absolutely.
Because you were challenged credit card wise. Then all of a sudden what you had to do was use cash and you didn't get the car that you wanted. So talk a little about your role at the credit union and what you guys have going on there.
All right. So great question, Mike. Right now we have a lot of unique things happening at People's Advantage. But for today, again, we're going to focus on a topic that affects so many people out there, and that's reliable and affordable transportation and auto lending. Getting an auto loan is a big decision for a lot of our members and their families. It's not just about financing the car that they want. It's about finding a solution that fits their budget and lifestyle. What I mean by that, like with my story, at that time, I couldn't get the car that I wanted, right? And one thing I talk to all of our members about is when they're selecting a vehicle, it's all about the need, not so much the want, but the need. And so we break that down into, is this car going to be used for personal business, or is it going to be a mix of both of them, right? How many miles we anticipate putting on that vehicle over, a year? What monthly payment are they comfortable with? Right. Not only that, thinking about some of the other factors of owning a vehicle, you have gas, you have insurance, you have monthly maintenance, right? We all have to, here in Virginia, we all have to get an inspection. We all have to have our tires rotated. We all have to have our brakes changed. We all need oil changes as well, right? And tires rotated. So with that, Mike, you're right. Reliability is key. So if someone is looking to purchase a vehicle that they want to be confident that the lender that they're working with is trustworthy and transparent. So that's why the types of programs that People's Advantage has, and why you guys should know that. So at People's Advantage, we're all about building trust because it's vital in our industry. Not only that, but our borrowers need to be aware of the terms and conditions of their loan and the purchase.
A lot of times people at that moment, when they say you can get the car, the terms, the conditions, all that goes out the window. How quick can I sign a paper and be rolling out the door because I got what I wanted? A lot of times people also don't realize the monthly amount that is needed, like can you comfortably afford that amount in addition to what your expenses now? And then also for the unforeseen things that happen with the car.
Sure.
And that's one of the things that you guys, People's Advantage is in the business of trust as well. You're trustworthy as a lender, as a financial institution. You guys take care of your customers. You're out in the community. Talk about why that's so important. And then when you see people and you realize how you help them, what it means.
Wonderful. That's a really, really good question. Like I was just saying earlier, that with our members, transparency